Hello there, I'm Chris Sutherland from Playtonic Games, and today with myself and a few others from Playtonic Games we'll be watching a speedrun. With me I've got Gavin Price.
Hello, I'm Gavin Price. I'm Studio Director and the Creative Director on Yooka Laylee and the Impossible Lair.
And Steve Males.
Hello, Steve Males here. I do characters and animation at Playtonic.
And also Dan Murdoch.
Hello, I am the audio director at Playtonic. I did a bunch of sound effects, wrote a little bit of the music. That's what I do.
And I did player movement, and it'll be interesting to see what's going on today with this speedrun. I think it's always fascinating to look at these things, and part of me is excited about what we see, but there's also part of me that always finds that when you see some of the exploits that some of these people do, you tend to think, as someone who's a developer, you've spent so long at the end of a game trying to fix these problems, that when somebody finds an exploit, you think it's a bit like being slapped in the face, really, and saying, you didn't find this, did you? You didn't find that bit. You didn't know that if you jumped in that little crack and that little hole there. So it's always interesting to see this stuff.
I think you see, like what we're seeing right now is a player absolutely flying through with skill, and you've got to focus, Chris, on the 90% of things you did right, not the 10% of things you did terrible. You've done terrible for 20 years now.
That's right.
Did we introduce Simon?
I don't think we did, Dan. I don't think Simon's on this call. We just went for the big guns with Chris direct.
Oh, I see.
So here we are, look at him go flying through this tutorial. I don't think it's possible to go through this tutorial without taking a hit. We wanted to make sure you could see that B shield in action.
This is the only bit of the game. This is the only bit of the game I'm good at.
Look at that, you're not that good.
I never take a hit on that bit ever. It's amazing.
Yeah, you get stuck on the start screen puzzle.
Shh, we weren't going to mention that.
Here we go, the evil capital B. Look at him.
Are we allowed to point bugs out and stuff?
I think we'll see a few, because the speedrunning community are fantastic at finding exploits. Not the
I think
small,
we'll see
minor.
a few on the basis that there are so many Bs in this game.
Am I allowed to badmouth fellow artists and animators?
Always.
Yeah,
cool.
that's
Cool.
fine. Let's see. Well, I'm interested to see what the tactic is here to try and go, do certain hits. How they get? Look at that fantastic jump. Look at that, using the wall as well.
What's he doing? Is he using the wall?
Yeah, leaving yourself in an end position so the player auto walks straight from the closest point.
That's just showing off.
Look at that. You get speed boosts as well, rolling through successive enemies. Good use. Look at that.
I guess we should say, for anybody who's not seen this game before, that what we're actually seeing is somebody bypassing the kind of main levels of the 2D levels of the game and going straight to the end game, which is what you can do right from the start.
Yeah, this is the last level. And yeah.
This is basically the thing that we kept saying throughout development. Someone, maybe some super talented person, can theoretically possibly do this, complete the game from the outset. We can have wondered if anyone has actually was going to be able to do
that! Excellent, excellent.
Yeah. I think I was one of the first people to do it, just not this fast.
That's nonsense. That's not true, is it?
Well, almost.
I
think only one person on the dev team actually finished the game this way before the game shipped.
I managed 44% or something. That was my best. I'm ashamed to admit. That's pretty pathetic.
That bit, cannon flowers, classic cannon flower gameplay there. No problem. That was interesting. That looked like they'd missed cannon flower, but it was a ground pound into cannon flower.
So the interesting thing about the Impossible Lair is that no one jump or no one little puzzle is that difficult in itself, but because there's so many of them together, they just takes a lot of concentration. You've really got to be focused for about 20 minutes just thinking about every little step.
Yeah.
Did you notice on that?
My palms are sweating just watching.
Did you notice on that last bit? So you know the bit where all the minions are rising up, the jetpack minions are rising up, and he's got to jump from block to block to block. He still waited for the second one, which really surprised me, because I remember like on that one, if you wait for the second one, you get a much easier jump. But he waited for the second one, which meant he's not risking it.
You're saying he could have done it faster?
I don't know. I think it is possible to do it off the first one. It's really, really fiddly.
He could have shaved a second off this time. It's just not good.
It's easy to
criticise. It's just not good enough.
difficult to show. Okay.
Dan will be doing this run straight after, and he'll be doing it with that 1 second left.
Yeah. I love the ground pound. I love the use of ground pound into roll all the time to get that initial acceleration momentum going. Really get far.
It was strange because we put that move in, and we knew you could. When we put the ground pound into rolling, what we didn't realise until about a couple of weeks later, after we put it in, was that you can actually then do a jump, because you can always jump from the roll. When you ground pound, you go into the fast roll. If you jump immediately, you can actually get that big jump straight away from it, and that's used by a lot of speedrunners to get a massive amount of speed. That, in conjunction with the fact that when you're in the air, you don't decelerate. So you'll see what they do a lot of the time is they will ground pound into a big jump, and then they'll keep just hopping on the ground. So they'll spend as little time on the ground as possible, because then they can keep the momentum going.
That's what that is. Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. I've only ever defeated the boss by using that ground pound jump. I don't know why. Just as soon as I found out that you can do it, just immediately just ground pound jump wherever you are in the boss fight into the corner. And then you can just camp in the corner until he comes over, and then you get an easy jump on his head.
I love these platform bits, the ones which go up and down.
This bit is really... Oh, it's so tricky if you're at the wrong...
It's so
if you
hard.
get the timing wrong.
The thing is, like, if you're not super patient about it, you can absolutely effectively dick yourself over permanently. The
speeds and movements on those, I remember when we were setting them up, they were all done to really disorient the player and make it a pattern that is just not natural to look at or flow.
Yeah, it's so tempting to jump when you don't need to, and then of course your platform goes down, and it gets me every time.
This is really tight on the timing as well, all the way through that section. Oh, and those spinning up.
Has he taken a hit at all?
No. This is a golden tonic run, as we call it.
He hasn't even lost Laylee yet, has he?
No.
It's going to be interesting to see if he can get through it without taking a hit at all.
There might be somewhere where if taking by a hit actually makes it quicker.
Yeah, sounds like a risky
tactic to me. If there is, we'll find out, because I guarantee the speedrunner, not Playtonic's audio designer, would spot that.
Of course, getting hit and losing Laylee is a risk, because if you keep losing her, then it becomes more and more difficult to get her back.
Yeah. Huge leap there onto the far away platform on the spinning windmill cogs. No problem here. Bit of respite. I'd imagine you could let go of the controller and towel dry your hands briefly at that point.
Those frogs, those are also things that make me cringe whenever I see them, because it's so easy to just bounce off one and then just land on something you didn't expect to land on.
Yeah.
Because this is going to be a fairly short video. He, she, I don't know who's playing, but they're pretty much over halfway through at this point.
Oh, he's jumped there. Oh, did he
good
time
jump
that
there
right?
to stutter. Yeah,
Yeah, that was correct. It was the right thing to do. Oh, that's so good.
Stay ducked. The amount of perfection on display is absolutely incredible. We've just seen the tip of the iceberg here. That's what always amazes me when you see a world record run. It's all the blood, sweat and tears that went into absolutely, all those practices, retries, tests. So trust me, we massively appreciate people doing speedruns of our games. They're just so fantastic to watch and enjoyable. Look at that bit. These wind up ropes. Oh, I loved using them in the level designs wherever possible.
I find that jump very hard over those, very difficult.
Yeah. And these patterns, they're awful. They really want to entice you into taking a risk you shouldn't be taking. Look at them, but
This
no
one as
problem
well.
there. Nah, that's a neat. Sometimes you find sections of levels, the faster you go, the easier they are. I've always appreciated that in certain 2D Mario levels as well. It's when I stop to pause and think about what I'm doing, that's when the problems occur.
Because a lot of these are set up, aren't they, so that if you have the timing right, you can just keep going bang, bang, bang right through a section.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes after like losing 10 lives in a row on a section, I get angry, and then you just go for it, and you surprise yourself sometimes by like making it through and making it a lot easier. You know, you make it difficult for yourself by worrying about the challenge sometimes.
Yeah. Can't imagine you, Steve Mayles, ever getting angry.
Oh, I do. Behind closed doors.
Wow. Do you go green and like get bigger like the Incredible Hulk? Well, bigger for you would be 4 foot. But...
Oh, pardon?
No problems here. Take this, capital B. We've all gone quiet. We're all watching in awe.
Well, to be honest, this is about as far as I get.
Yeah, this is for some of you, this is the first time you'll have seen past this point, right? You could be able to check your names in the credits in a minute.
I've gone quiet because my video's frozen up, but hopefully it'll be back in a minute.
Oh wow, you're missing some incredible timings. Unbelievable. The conveyors, they're so awkward, especially the ones that go back and forth and change, and some are faster than others. It really was all about doing uncomfortable. This level breaks so many level design rules in terms of not letting the player feel like they can get a natural muscle memory or pattern nailed down in the head. It's all done to be uncomfortable and as unpredictable as possible, just on this one level in the game.
And with the conveyors as well, you're always having to remember you're on a conveyor going a particular way, and thinking, well, if I jump, I'm going to go off at high speed in one direction, and some of them swap round, and then that gets even more confusing.
Yeah, and we never tried to stick to the same set of props, overlapping each other for too long in a row on this level.
Well, a lot of this level was originally bits of other levels that we decided were too hard.
Yeah.
And we kind of like took all the hardest, most kind of devious, like final versions of the challenge of every other level and kind of saved them all for this. Which is interesting because to get everything tutorialized for this level, you kind of have to have played every other level to have all the elements kind of introduced to you and get used to how they work, everything. If you try and, do this without having done the due diligence of playing the other levels, then these things are going to be new and they're going to be even more terrifying.
Yeah, the design and structure of the game certainly encourages that, but it's fantastic to see someone just from the start of the game smashing it straight through.
Something I never realised with those flap-down platforms was I always thought I needed a minimum of 3 to go between, but in fact you can see sometimes people get away with just 2. With the timing, if you're just at the last minute, you can just make do with 2 going back and forth.
Yeah. A capital B boss fight already, unbelievable. Dan, the music here is awesome. What was this one of your tracks?
I was waiting for my music comment. It's not mine, but it's actually the next tune coming up is one of my absolute favourite in the game. He's going to get past this bit, and then the very last section is absolutely crazy.
I only
remember that when
on the music
Dave.
went. Oh, go on.
I know when Dave sent the final tune, it was just like we listened to it and thought, oh my word, this is brilliant. And the thing is, it's the only time in the game when you hear that tune, so it's just saves it. There's a really epic moment as you try and escape. Come on, I want to hear my tune. There we go.
Still the matter of using the hive mind on Capital B himself. Lovely way to finish the boss fight, I think.
There we go.
He's down.
The escape. I've always wanted to do a game with an escape sequence in ever since Super Metroid. Here we go.
So this section is actually not as difficult as the it's not as easy, but it's not as difficult as the other ones. But that's
I don't know. I actually think this level is actually probably easier than most of the normal levels in the game. But we couldn't have expected most people to have lost almost all, if not in fact definitely all of their bees by this point. So it was more of a case of trying to make it feel as intense as possible. But actually
yeah, we weren't going for
bad.
difficulty. We weren't going for difficulty with it. We were going for intensity.
It probably looks harder than it is, definitely.
Yeah, and it's definitely a section of the game where the more you commit to just going and not thinking about things, the better the run tends to go.
The other thing is that although the difficulty in absolute terms is probably quite low, you have to imagine at this point somebody's pretty stressed getting to this level if they've not, if they've only got a few bees left and they're right near the end, they're going to be
bit of a
got
slip
sweaty
there.
palms. Yeah.
Yes, and the big clock counting down doesn't help matters, does it?
No.
So I don't think any hits have been taken so far throughout this.
That's it.
Amazing.
Look at that. 16,
Incredible.
21, 48.
Made it look easy. Ukulele and ukulele and the easy Lair. That's what it should be called.
The very possible.
Yeah,
Anyone
Dan,
can do this.
That's what you've got to beat. We expect to be back soon watching your one.